Would you but out? Out.
That's a school principal.
No, put your hands down.
The principal of a Florida school could be facing criminal charges after she was filmed hitting a crying 6-year-old girl with a paddle, while her confused mother watched. Melissa Carter, head of Central Elementary School in Clewiston, is under investigation by the police, Wink News reported. Corporal punishment is not permitted in Hendry County School District. The unnamed mother said she was called to her daughter's school after the officials complained she had caused $50 worth of damage to a school computer. The mother, who does not speak fluent English, did not understand what was happening as she was arrived at the school on April 13th to pay the $50 fine, but was taken to the principal's office where her daughter was waiting. The hatred with which she hit my daughter, I mean it was a hatred that, really I've never hit my daughter like she hit her, the tearful mother told Wink News. I had never hit her. She said, my daughter was already in the office. The principal started to scream. There were no cameras. What are we doing in this place? My daughter and I, alone. She said she did not know what to do, and worried that if she intervened in the punishment she too would be in trouble, with her immigration status questioned. She filmed the incident, not knowing what else she should do. Nobody would have believed me. I sacrificed my daughter, so all parents can realize what's happening in this school. Brett Pravinsky, the attorney for the mother, said the state attorney's office is reviewing the case to see whether they pursue criminal charges against Carter and Cecilia Self, the clerk of the school, who was seen in the room in the video. On the website for the school district, it states, the superintendent shall designate sanctions for the infractions of rules, excluding corporal punishment. Neither Carter nor the school has responded to requests for comment. I don't mind discipline with permission, but not when there's a language barrier, said Ruby Monroe, whose grandson attends the school. She told Wink News, I worked for the state of Florida for 34 years and we always had an interpreter. Self, the clerk, was designated to translate for the mother, but the mother said she failed to do so.
Alright, Shalom. Kohala, Yahweh Shai, Bashim Hakodash, the ones the apostles of great millstone, and Shalom to brothers in the highways and byways doing the works of sailing faithfully and continually fighting the good fight of faith. Alright, so here you have the situation down in Florida where this principal, as you heard the article, started to beat this little, may have been a little Reubenite, because Reuben's down, all down there in Florida, Reuben and Gad. But nevertheless, you devils, they're gonna get what they're gonna get what they got coming to them, man. Straight up. All right. So if you heard the lady who worked for the county for 34 years, she said something important. She said, anytime they were going to do something, they had an interpreter, which tells me for somebody that worked for the county for 34 years, all they was doing was whooping ass on Jake. Okay? So now, from here, let me just go to here real quick. All right. This is in Florida. It says, according to Florida Statute 784-03, battery occurs when someone intentionally causes bodily harm to another person or touching or strikes another person against their will. If you or a loved one have been accused of battery in Sarasota, then we highly recommend you seek legal advice. So I read that because if you listen to the article, it said that, they're looking into whether or not, charges, or she's going to be, brought up on charges. There's no need to look into shit. Here this crackers is smashing a little Gadite or Reubenite girl, and now you're talking about they're going to look into it? See, but this is what happens, especially in these southern states, man. They band together down there. You're going to be hard pressed to find, a a district attorney to bring charges on one of their own in that kind of setting. This is Isaiah 3:15. It says, "What mean ye that ye beat my people to pieces and grind the faces of the poor, saith the Lord power of hosts." All right. So this isn't nothing new, man. And I couldn't find it, but I'm pretty sure that law was put on the books primarily for Jake. You know, like that lady said, she worked for the county for 34 years, and anytime something went down, they always had an interpreter. You hear that? They always had an interpreter. So that tells you these devils was in there cleaning house on Jake, man. With no remorse. None. But then you got Israelites out there saying Esau can make it in the kingdom. You heard the mother? The mother said she had such hatred. She was hitting her daughter with such hatred. Okay? That goes back to, you know, the spirit that's in these devils and for the hate that they have towards us. Obadiah 1:10, it says, "For the violence against thy brother Jacob." Okay? That was an act of violence upon that little girl. And you know, people are saying, "Oh, the mother this and the mother that." You know how these devils are, man. That teacher or principal probably told that woman, you know, you gotta let this happen because you can get deported or what have you. But once again, man, this isn't nothing new. The shit that they've been doing to our people, man, and it's about to get worse. It's about to get worse. This shit has been ongoing since we've been brought over here. Moving on. Let me read this here. So this was an article a link that was connected. And it says, go right down to the point here. It says, Florida permits spanking, i.e. corporal punishment, or discipline or punishment, unless it results in actual harm. Specifically, Florida's law on proceeding relating to children states that corporal discipline of a child by a parent or legal guardian. Okay. Now, once again, there you have the means to bring charges against a teacher that hits a child because of what? They're neither the parent or legal guardian. Okay? It says, I'll read it again. It says, corporal discipline of a child by a parent or legal guardian for disciplinary purposes does not in itself constitute abuse when it is done, when it does not result in harm to the child. However, state also, let me get my glasses on. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second, brothers. Slack you. It's getting tougher and tougher to read this stuff, man. It says, where was I? It says, however, the state also has straitened laws against child abuse and domestic violence, where abuse includes physical or mental harm that not only causes, but it's likely to cause the child's emotional, mental, and physical health to be significantly impaired. This could place parents and legal guardians at risk of criminal prosecution. You know, so you mean to tell me if a parent or legal guardian does it, you can be possibly placed, you know, in some kind of criminal prosecution. But if a teacher does it, now they're gonna look into it. We're gonna look in to see what happened. Damn devils. It says more and more experts release findings that corporal punishment places children at risk for poor mental health and long-term harm, and inflicting corporal punishment early on and is tied to domestic abuse later on, leaving a number of questions remaining over what is okay and what is not okay. Okay, so once again, these devils, they have these kids, these Israelite kids in their school. This little girl said it was said that she busted the computer, a pot that cost $50, and the mother went down there to pay for it. All right, so you reprimand the kid, the mother pays for the money, and let that be that. But these devils are consistently doing some devilish shit, man. Let me see that again real quick.
Wait. Would you but out?
That's a school principal.
No, put your hands down.
The principal of a Florida.
Let me tell you, man. And then you got Mrs. Tomahawk over there, you know, arranging the kid so she can get hit. When the Lord gives the green light, man, the Lord gives the green light. When He gives the green light, man, I tell you, boy. Let me read on. There's a couple other articles I want to get to. Now, this is boarding schools and the history of Iqra. So I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I want to get down to a portion. All right, so that's it up there. This is boarding schools and the history of Iqra. Now, give me one quick second. Yeah. Just want to read a little bit of this right here. It says, from the 1800s to the 1930s, the policy of the United States government toward Native Americans was assimilation into white society. Native languages, spiritual beliefs, food, traditions, and family life were considered uncivilized. So missionaries and the government opened schools on and off reservations to force children to abandon their traditions. Army Officer Richard Pratt, founder of the first federal Indian boarding school, Carlisle Indian Industrial School, gave a speech in 1892, which he summarized his philosophy as, "Kill the Indian, save the man." In Wisconsin, the U.S. government ran 3 boarding schools, 3-day schools, and contracted out 3 additional boarding schools to religious and other organizations. Native American children who went to the boarding schools were forcibly taken from their families. That's the devil for you. Subjects such as reading, writing, math, and history were all taught from the white point of view, and boys were taught to farm while girls were taught domestic work. Children were forced to cut their hair, dress in uniforms, and speak English. These schools emphasized conversions to Christianity and citizenship training in the foundation of the U.S. society. Today, we see this assault on Native culture identity as cultural genocide. A culture cannot survive without its children to carry on its traditions. I tell you, man, there is enough evidence. Okay, there's enough evidence to show that true judgment needs to be laid down. It says, discipline was often severe at Indian boarding schools. Many children were malnourished and suffered physical, emotional, sexual, and spiritual abuse. Now check this out. Schools have cemeteries on site because so many children died. Schools have cemeteries on site because so many children died. Now you mean to tell me this devil doesn't deserve the punishment he's going to receive? Now keep in mind, as the article stated, these kids were taken and stripped from their families, man. So when these kids were taken from their families and those who died, the parents never seen them again. That was it. And of course, these devils told some crockamamie story to these parents, if any story at all. Schools have cemeteries on site because so many children died. The legacy of the boarding school era and other attempts to erase Native culture still lives on as historical and intergenerational trauma. It says, let me see. Yeah, I'm not gonna read too much more of this. You get the gist of what's happening here. All right, check this picture out. All Jake. All Israelites. All right. So you get the gist of what's happening here. What the situation is, what's going on. How Jake has always been, whether it be Gad, whether it be any of the tribes. You know, these devils always, inflict violence on our people, man. And because these Edomites, they hold true to one another. They hold true to one another. You know, they're gonna do all they possibly can to try to prevent this damn teacher or principal, whoever the hell she is. They're gonna do all they possibly can to prevent her from being charged with a crime.
The school could be facing criminal charges after she was filmed hitting a crying 6-year-old.
Could be facing criminal charges. Could be. Now, it's one thing if they have on the books a law where spanking is allowed, okay? Spanking with the understanding of an open palm, a hand. This demon got a goddamn paddle and is commenced to whooping ass. Listen to that first strike, man.
Wait. Would you but out?
That's a school principal.
No, put your hands down.
I'm telling you, man. Who will rouse them up, man? See, these things, the Lord is putting this in play. The Lord is putting all this in play, man. It's going to boil over real soon. It's going to boil over real soon. All these things that we're seeing, all the shit that's going down is happening to our people. And damn near nobody's being held accountable. The Lord is not making anybody being held accountable because it's boiling. He's going to let this boil over. The pot's going to boil over. And then all hell's going to break loose, man. All right. So with that, I'm going to leave it at that. I believe I hit all the points. This is 2nd Ezra 16:71. It said, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Okay? So they're not going to spare the young or the old. Why? Because they are like madmen. They are madmen. There's nothing anybody's going to be able to do to stop it until Yahweh Shemel Shah comes back to lay this vengeance down upon Edom. All right, so Lord willing, brothers edified, I'll see you brother another show. I say shalom.